Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Capricorn. If Capricorn is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. And so tonight, Capricorn, we have that beautiful High Priestess card. One of the prettier cards, in my opinion, in the deck, the Thoth deck here. And we can just take a look real quick. The colors are gorgeous. But also, of course, that energy of the High Priestess, one of intuition, one of, well, almost kind of a reserved knowing. You know how like there are people who think that they know everything about everything or everything about something, and they just have to like let you know. They're just going to keep explaining it. And then there are people, or explaining or showing it off or whatever. And then there are people who have that wisdom. You can just look at them and you see that's a wise person. They're reserved. They're a little more, thoughtful about how they talk about things, what they reveal. That is the energy of the High Priestess. And so very, very happy to see this energy, because we do. We all need some wisdom in our lives right now, don't we? All right, now let's see what these tea leaves are going to tell us. And so, also, I want to say thank you for deciding to check out this reading. If you're new to the channel, welcome. It's wonderful to meet you, and I appreciate you sharing your time. It's so very precious. And if you are returning, welcome back. I love having you here. All right, let's go ahead. We're going to see what's going on. And so I immediately get this impression, and we have these two people up here arguing. Right here, you can see the head, the mouth is open. Over here, the head, the mouth is open. This one even has their hand like kind of on their hip. You know what I'm saying? Pointing. It looks like a large hand here. Pointing. Go. Get out of here. So it does feel like there's maybe been some turbulence in your personal life recently. Maybe a breakup. Maybe this is like one of your children, your young children, adult children, it doesn't matter, but having some kind of disagreement. Maybe you have kids still living at home. They're, 19, 20, 30 years old, and not being very helpful around the house, or, disrespecting your rules or how you like to live. And I could see, yeah, it's time for you to go. I feel like it's something more along these lines where, of course, there is love and there is loyalty and there's devotion, but there's also this wall that we all hit, right? Or hopefully, right? Where it's just not working. This isn't working. This dynamic, the way that we're living, how we have things arranged, it's not conducive with the way that you want to live your life and also promote wellness, right? Mental health, spirituality, feeling physically well. I don't know if you've ever had like a terrible roommate, or maybe, a relationship, a marriage that was just very turbulent. It affects your mind, body, soul through and through. Because you are going out into the world to work, to make money, to pay for this home, this place, this nest, this family, and you come home to it and it's just constant chaos or constant battling one another, and it wears you down. Because that should be your sanctuary. That should be where you can go to lay your head and get some rest. So I feel like this is a situation that is in the process of working itself out. No, I'm kidding. It's not. This isn't going to work itself out. This is something that you are being proactive about. You're not just sitting by hoping, oh, maybe they'll come to their senses. Maybe they'll start to listen. Maybe they'll start helping out.Maybe they'll start doing what they say they're going to do. It doesn't seem like that. There's not a lot of evidence for that. And so I see you coming to this, well, it is a place where you're going to make a stand. Because it doesn't feel good to have to live in this disharmony. Okay? So I see that in the next, it feels like maybe this has already happened. I feel like this is a situation that has been playing out over time. But I feel like either like really right in this last, couple of weeks, there has been that conversation to we're going to have to figure out, are you moving out? Am I moving out? How are we going to do this? Something like that. And if not, I could see this kind of, taking place in this next very now, like today, no, in the next week or two. I mean, it really feels like it is in this period of time. And I keep thinking it's like a week or two, And so it's either a week or two in the past or a week or two in the future. Okay, so, ready yourself. And if you have support people in your life, get on the phone, send them a message, make sure you're talking about how you're feeling, what's going on, and especially if this situation is very volatile, it's important that you let people know what's going on. Don't do it secretly. Don't try to hide it from the family. Don't try to, save face, and you don't want anybody to know that we're having problems or whatever it is. Let at least somebody know, because you never know how people are going to behave when they're put under pressure, especially if it is breaking up or asking for a divorce or asking somebody who has already shown you that they don't respect your home, they don't respect you, telling them, yeah, you're going to have to move out. That could really cause, somebody to really act in a very reactionary fashion. So you want to make sure that, you're able to communicate what you need to and get the results that you want, but also doing that safely. Okay? Now, we're going to keep turning this, and I want to look up here. We have, it looks like a dog right here. We have the dog, and we have a person here. It looks like, excuse me, maybe an older gentleman. You can see the eyes, the nose, the mouth, and then the head up here. And it looks like maybe balding or maybe a bald older gentleman, okay? Now I want to look right in here. We have like a tree full of birds roosting. You can see one here, one here, one here. And this one even looks like a bird wearing, or like it has a human body and the head of a bird, and wearing maybe like a long robe. So we know that the birds are the messengers, okay? They're the bringers of messages. And it looks like you have a lot of stuff coming through. And this is like from that psychic realm. This is from that metaphysical realm. This is from the divine, whatever you call it, however you experience it, that's personal to each of us. But This is not like, you know, just the random thing somebody said to you. No, this is like coming through very, it's clear. At first, I don't know that it's super clear, but I think like it's a mixture of having maybe some visions. And I know that's, it seems weird to have like a vision in a normal day, right? I myself do have them all the time. But I've trained myself, right? I focus on the imagery because it's helpful to, well, my readings and my magical work and so on. But for, I guess, the normal person, it would be strange to all of a sudden be sitting there, you're having lunch, and you're starting to see imagery kind of come into your mind's eye. But I think that you're having these moments where there's very strong sensations, impressions, and being really immersed in these moments, right? Like almost like you're watching a movie that you're a part of. The other thing I imagine that you're having is like repeating numbers, synchronicities through symbols or words, things that really seem to coincide with each other. And you know, we always kind of do this, all of us, minimize it to being like, oh, that's a coincidence, right? It's just a coincidence. But I feel like this is synchronicity for you. You're having a lot of these patterns kind of pop up, these moments where you feel like, okay, this is very meaningful. I cannot believe this happened, you know? But I do also feel like there's something. We have the dog, and the dog represents somebody who is like a good friend, a best friend, loyal, devoted, and you are loyal and devoted to them. And I kind of almost feel like the thing that really confirms all of these emanations you've been receiving and perceiving as well, right? I feel like there's somebody in your life that is, I feel like they're a really good friend, but I don't think that you're very involved with them. This feels like a reunion, or like they're calling you out of the blue. But I think it will be something like they had a dream about you, or something came into their mind and they felt like they had to tell you about it. Like they were compelled. And I think this will be that confirmation, okay? This will be the thing, this will be the thing that really kind of, you know, it's like the bow. It all is coming together, and this is the confirming factor. With that bird, the humanoid bird, it very much reminds me of like a hierophant or a high priest, or maybe even the high priestess, but not so much, because the bird to me is very much related to Thoth. And especially a bird like this with a like kind of long skinny beak. So we know Thoth is shown as the ibis bird in some of his forms, okay? So we have the god of magic, of the sciences. I feel like it's like a ball dropping. It's like something hitting the floor. It feels like a ball. I'm thinking it's like a ball or something. But and I'm trying to think. What is it showing me? He has a key in his beak, between the beak. And we do have the rooster over here. Okay, so we have the rooster. This is an alarm. This is like the wake-up call. Wake up, wake up, wake up, right? Cock-a-doodle-doo. It's time to get up. But I feel like it's just, it really... I almost wonder if this is like the first time these things have really been happening to you. I almost wonder if it's kind of like you're at this point in your life where you're just kind of like, you know, doing things like you usually do. It's pretty good. You have some, you know, problems with your relationship, or maybe, like I said, it's a kid or whoever is living with you. And that's causing some disturbances, and it really is taking a lot of your attention. But there's also this thing happening where you're feeling almost like for the first time, you're very in tune with the universe. And it's almost kind of like, I get this sense of your abilities are starting to kick in. Where maybe you're a person that has always been good at like reading people. You're good at body language. You just, when you walk into a room and something's off, you absolutely feel it immediately. But you just kind of chalked it up to being like an observant person, right? And the reality, I think, is more, I mean, it's partially that, but I think it's more that you are maybe psychic, clairvoyant, a medium, an empath, any of the many things that you can be, right? And it's evolving. It's beginning to really come into its prime. And so I feel like there's like a real intense period of time here where there will be a lot of phenomenon. And I do feel like at times you might even be a little bit frightened by it. Other times very dismissive, kind of like, maybe, but I don't really buy into all that stuff, But there's no ignoring it, really. It kind of is what it is, what it is. So you can try to learn to ignore it for the most part, not put a lot of stock into it, or you can start studying about these things that are going on with you. These, extra sensory happenings or, psychic abilities that are really coming into, I guess, like a peak, right? And so, this is the one book I always, no, it's the only book I've ever read. No, I'm kidding. But it's the one I mention the most. And I know if you've watched my readings for any amount of time, you're probably like, okay, here we go. But yes, Dion Fortune's Psychic Self-Defense. Okay, go and read that or look it up, look up the Cliff Notes or whatever. Really important stuff in there. Not every word in the book, and it's not a huge book, but some of it you can skim through. But I do think it's important for every person, if you're a practitioner, if you are somebody who is just like innately gifted, or if you are somebody who doesn't feel that they have any kind of, occult, magical, or psychic inclinations, we still have to protect our psyche, right? And And so I think it's important to go and read these kinds of things, not to scare yourself or anything like that, but what can happen when you have developing abilities, the energies of the universe kind of take notice. The entities, the like roaming, transient spirits, you're like a beacon of light and they will be drawn to you. So just making sure that you have that kind of buffer zone, I think that is something definitely to take a little bit of time and to look into. Okay. Now we also have the letters, it looks like L-I-N. L-I-N. And I want to go over here and look. We have A-N-S. A-N-S. If that means anything to anybody. Now we have a campfire, we have, it looks like a person holding a coin. We have another person who is down here meditating. I feel like there's kind of, this will be the thing. Activation of the Fool energy and also of the High Priestess energy. So I see you kind of vacillating between these two kind of like very reserved and very introspective and on task with your your different rituals and techniques and wellness and whatever it is, meditating, breath work, postures, magic, operations, whatever it might be for you. And then vacillating to just kind of, doing whatever the heck you want. Having no plan, no rules. And I don't think it's a bad thing. I am a firm believer that we should always offset whatever we're doing with energy that maybe is in great contrast to that. So what do I mean by that? My example is always like, I do a lot of self-work, right? I'm working in self-development of a variety of kinds constantly, and reading and indulging in art and poetry and feeding the soul and all these kinds of things. And I offset that by watching reality TV sometimes, or going out and watching a ball game, or I don't know, whatever, just doing other things that maybe don't seem like they go together, but sometimes we do. Sometimes I just need garbage media, right? Content that is mindless. And I know there's a big push towards people not indulging so much in that stuff. And I think that everything in moderation, of course. But I do think that it is pretty beneficial to be able to balance out, just if you're this idea of, I'm an occultist, I'm a practitioner, I have to be serious all the time. I'm only reading these like huge bound books by candlelight and using quills to write and on scroll, whatever. I'm being absurd here, obviously, but never being able to break away from this very narrow and defined pathway. No, I mean, that might work for some people, but I think for the majority of us, we are so many things. We are so many archetypes and personalities and, these different modes of being that we have created to get us through life. And it's okay to fluctuate through those. And so I see you really embracing the balance of being whatever it is you are in whatever moment that you're in. Okay? And I think that's a beautiful, beautiful thing to be able to achieve in life. Because a lot of people will tell you that we have to kind of, pick one lane and stay in it. Try to be the same person for every person that you interact with. Represent yourself in a very particular way. How boring. How boring. But we also have the campfire. So I do see a lot of creativity, motivation, and passion. And that's the big thing here. I think that you're going through this transitional phase and I shouldn't say phase. I should say cycle. And yeah, it's not easy and it's not going to be easy, but you're going to make the best of it. And as you do, and you start to come out of this little bit of turmoil that you've had, there will be so much room for you to grow, to excel, to explore. And I think that is the real gift in these troubles that you've had. And mostly it is. It's just that arguing. Because whenever I'm thinking about that first part, all I can hear is like arguing and sighing and stomping feet. That it feels frustrating, to the point where it's like you don't even want to argue anymore. You just don't care because you know how it's going to go. And that is such a icky feeling to get to that point. So I think that you will be changing things and, and that's for the best. That's for the best for everybody. Okay, let's see. We're going to roll this thing. 98. Lucky number 98. Now we're doing 3 lucky numbers. Number 41. And people have asked me, what do I do these numbers for? Well, some people, they are looking for lucky numbers and they ask in the comments and stuff. So I've decided to do 3 lucky numbers every day. Or every reading, I should say. 95. Okay? And number 95. And we're just going to go ahead and finish up with our self-care affirmation cards. And I'm just going to go ahead. I'll flip through. I'll stop where it feels right. Dawn of transformation. Today, I am reborn. This is the dawn of my transformation. All right. That's perfect for our reading. Absolutely. Okay. Capricorn, I love you. I thank you for spending this time with me. It's my honor to be able to bring these messages to you. If you want to like, subscribe, leave a comment, I would love to hear from you. Other than that, I just want to tell you again, I love you, I love you, I love you. Take care of yourself. We're going to talk in a few days. Good night.